Okay, so I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I thought this episode was great. I thought this episode was actually pretty okay, and it would be kind of tame. I felt like this would be a pretty easy thing because there's a lot of good moments. There's Mickey Momo. There's all these like the robot song. That's really fun. But the thing about this episode and the thing that it really brings it down is its dynamic, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Because holy shit, this dynamic is screwed whenever it comes to whoever the writers want you to root for in this episode. It's really, really weird and it's really jarring whenever you watch it. So, take this with a grain of salt. Leave your opinions on the comments if you disagree. Let's get into it. Brad starts off singing Mickey Momo, which was a song made 6 years ago, 6 years ago. And Jenny doesn't, obviously she does not know because she was made 5 years ago. And that's what the episode's trying to say. She was made 5 years ago. She was designed, not born, 5 years ago. The principal overhears Jenny talking about being made 5 years ago. And the principal sends her to kindergarten because what he thought was that it was her being 5 years old, which is very strange because she's a robot. You think he'd know this, but whatever, I guess. Plot, I guess. She tries to explain to the teacher, principal, Jenny tries to explain to the teacher of the kindergarten about her being a high school student, and the teacher obviously does not, think she is. So she has to sit down and is forced to listen to the alphabet. The kids make fun of Jenny because she is metally and she's a robot. It's weird, it's creepy, and they start laughing at her. And, I mean, the dynamic kind of worked until this happened, which is Jenny trying to prove to the teacher that she knows the alphabet, and she's trying to have a dynamic. And we have this interesting gag where it's like she's trying to like raise her hand, and there's a few little visual gags. Those are pretty funny, actually. Kind of like the visual gags in that area. But unfortunately, it just didn't really work out too well, and I just this next part really just gets me there. But it's just Jenny gets really, really angry because whenever she's doing this, other kids are answering the questions correctly, and she's getting really angry for no apparent reason. I'm like, why are you getting angry for no apparent reason? It would be interesting if she bottled up those emotions, because I know what they're going for. I know what they're going for. But it's way too soon. It's way too soon to have her acting this cruel to somebody, to where she will actually yell and say, "In your face," and the kid starts crying. Jenny then calls the kid a baby after she, just made that happen. And they start playing house. And this is kind of the part with the robot part. And the kids are trying to, it's obvious that the writers want us to side with Jenny at this point. But it's hard because Jenny just yelled at a preschooler for answering a question correctly because she didn't answer it. Do you see the problem here? So what happens is, here we have a good display of what the writers were trying to do, but unfortunately, the thing is already ruined because of the thing that just happened before with Jenny trying to answer questions, and she yells at a kid for no apparent reason other than, "Hey, he answered the question," which is something that I wanted to do. So they start to sing about Jenny being a robot, and like I said, this moment's great. I love this moment. This moment's great. I am a robot. It's funny. It's a good moment. And but unfortunately, Jenny does something very, very justified, which is because obviously, the kids, obviously the writers are trying to make the kids unlikable. Okay. The writers are trying to make the kids unlikable. And what it is that they do kind of correctly is the fact that during the song or before the song, the girl is like very snarky towards her. and very, very rude towards her. And so it works because whenever she says this is so stupid, it's a sign of her frustration between that. But it's brought down once again because of the dynamic that was set earlier with her yelling at someone for no apparent reason. So that dynamic is ruined. Sorry, I'm going through all of these notes. There's so much because I literally just like killed like 20 of them all at once. This is so weird. I'm like on autopilot right now. Sorry about this. Okay, so someone towels on her for saying the S word, which is a stupid word, which is funny. And the kid cries and runs off. And they start playing outside. And here, like I said, I can't tell who the Wires wants to side with because they're trying to force this dynamic down our throat. Both sides have done wrong. The kids have done wrong because the kids, let's see what the kids have done. The kids made fun of Ginny for being a robot, which is racism. That's basically what it is. And then the kids before the song were starting to act all rude towards her and things like that. Meanwhile, Ginny arguably did things kind of worse whenever she yelled at a kid for no apparent reason. Something so simple as answering a question. And she did the whole entire stupid thing. Which, I don't know what the hell you want to side with. Is there no one we should side with? Is there someone we should side with? Is everyone unlikable? What's going on? You know, what's going on? You're losing me. You're losing me here. And it's unfortunate because in The Boy Who Cried Robot, which arguably is slightly better than this episode, but not a lot. I'll get into that whenever I get into that though. But in that episode, basically, long story short, Tuck is basically the antagonist because what's going on is Tuck. It's a parody of The Boy Who Cried Wolf, obviously, if it wasn't obvious between the title. So Tuck is purposely trying to call Jenny for pointless stuff. Nothing is going on. He's not in peril or anything. And he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing because he tells her, "Oh man, you're here. I want you to be here for this," or whatever. And it's very, very bad. And he's obviously the antagonist in the episode. And it works because at the very end of the episode, gets his comeuppance. I will get into what I mean by this dynamic or why I explained this later. So we got a ball where it doesn't work. Like, we get the ball thing where she throws the ball at everyone but it doesn't work because the thing is, in a good episode, like back to The Boy Who Cried Wolf, for example, in a good episode, this gag will be used to show the character bottling up their emotion that they've had throughout the entire episode. But here, we do not see anything of that nature. Ginny just reacts every single time whenever one little thing happens. It doesn't work. It does not work. It's not a good thing. It's not a good dynamic. It's not interesting. It just doesn't work. It's confusing. It sucks because you're supposed to side with Ginny. Of course you're supposed to side with Ginny. But both of them have done something wrong. The kids have done something wrong. Make it to where Ginny wants to have that thing. Because, I mean, they did that dynamic in Boy Who Cried Wolf as well. Tuck is her friend. She tries to act all nice, and then at the very end, she gets all mad and bottles up the emotion and chases him down the street, shooting lasers beneath his feet. You have an interesting dynamic there and a joke that works. I understand what they're trying to do, but it just doesn't work. In this mindset, does not work. But what it is, it's just really, really weird. This episode is just a mess. This episode is a really big mess. Oh man. The scene isn't too bad though. Like, I'm not gonna hate Ginny for doing it because it's obvious that the kids have done something wrong. But Ginny has also done something wrong. And like it's just I don't know. It's really, really hard to explain. It's pretty easy if you watch the episode though. Just take out the moments with the stupid line and the thing about the answering questions, leaving the stuff with all the kids, and you got your dynamic right there. That's easy. That's very easy. But the thing is that the kids, after the ball and things, they get thrown balls at them and stuff like that. They get all knocked out. They get all black eyes or whatever. They think Jenny's cool because she beat us all up. What the fuck? She beat us all up, so she's cool now. Yay! Oh god. And then Jenny's mom comes in. She shows diagrams that she was made 5 years ago, and the teacher just suddenly believes it because whatever, I guess. Whatever. Why not? And the episode just ends. This episode is a mess. I mean, it shows that I literally had to ramble for 10 minutes in order to get my point across. This episode is just as bad as this video was with how much rambling there was. My god, man, this episode is, I mean, there's a lot of good moments, but unfortunately, the dynamic, the main thing, the main bread and butter of this episode is not good, and it doesn't work. It is very, very unfortunate because there's so many good moments about this episode. There's so many good moments, and it's so stupid how this does not work. And I cannot believe I'm saying this, but it's not great. I would say it's average. Should I say it's below average? Is there a lot of things that save this episode? There's not really too many. I'd say it's slightly below average, 4 out of 10. It's not the greatest episode, and I can definitely see where people are coming from with the criticism and the points driven towards this episode and how the dynamic is very bad. Because like I said, although Boy Who Cried Wolf, in my humble opinion, is maybe slightly, maybe a 7 or 6. I don't know. I'll have to review it. But it is very much better than this episode in all ways because the dynamic actually works and it works well. So, thank you guys so much for watching. And it's been Taylor. And I'll see you guys soon. Get care.